What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I know I look like I just rolled out of bed and that is because I'm going to be doing a get ready with me type video today, and we're going to be discussing the Aries new moon. So I actually filmed this video once before. It was supposed to go up yesterday, but I'm refilming it because I just didn't feel like myself in that last video. I felt like I was too focused on making the video factual that it actually ended up not being factual because I was nervous and anxious and not myself. And that is not how I want to drop a YouTube video on an Aries new moon. Aries is all about the self and being authentic to yourself and all that. So I wanted to make sure that I was embracing that energy today. So let's talk about the new moon. So essentially the moon is always in this cycle where it's waning, it's waning, it's waning. It meets with sun and then it's waxing, it's waxing, it's waxing. It opposes sun, wanes again, meets with sun, waxes, opposes sun. This happens every month. So these 2 points, I like to think of them as like checkpoints. So you have the new moon where you can start a new intention for the month, and a full moon where you can release and detox everything for the month, kind of let things come to a close. And I really like that. I think it's a time to check in with yourself. The moon in astrology represents our inner self, our inner world, our inner dialogue with ourselves. So these 2 times are kind of like a good times to have that conversation with yourself. Ooh, I'm getting a little tongue twisted. Okay, I'm going to attempt to do my brows on camera. Hey, if you want to grab maybe your makeup and do your makeup too, that'd be fun. We'd be like doing our makeup together, or like do your skincare or something, your morning routine. Go ahead and just play out my voice. A lot of people say they like my voice. I've been told to do ASMR or whatever. A goal of mine is to like reconnect with the things I love. And that's very like, I feel like new moon in Aries energy. And so that's why I wanted to maybe try doing videos in this style, because I really love makeup and I felt like this is a great way to reconnect with makeup and another old love of mine, YouTube. When I think of Aries, I think of warrior. I think of drive, our vitality, our body, our health, our energetic like battery. I also think of like justice and youthfulness and fighting for the underdog, wanting to serve. I think of hero energy as well. I also think of like pride and ego and our honor and our self-esteem. So this new moon is interesting because it's also wrapped up with Mercury, Venus, and Chiron. So there's a little extra focus here. So I am going to talk about, the planets sort of wrapped up in this little stellium. Sun is actually exalted in the sign of Aries, and pretty much when a planet is exalted in a sign, it's like the characteristics of that planet in the sign are very similar. So the planet feels strong in that sign. The planet feels supported by that sign. So sun in astrology is like our strength, it's our vitality, it's our self-esteem, it's our personality. It can be tied to the father figure. It's a tie to our authority. So that's why sun feels exalted in the sign of Aries. When a planet is exalted, it's pretty much that planet and that sign share a lot of the same characteristics, and they want the same things. So when that planet sits in that sign, it feels supported by that sign. It feels strong in that sign. So sun feels strong in the sign of Aries. I feel like there's an energy of wanting to initiate a new sense of self, like on an outward level. So many of us have changed maybe over the past few years. 2020, literally everything changed, and the pandemic happened, and I think we, over that course of the year as an individual, had to face ourselves, had to maybe tackle a lot of things that we were able to avoid because we were so busily handling our day-to-day life. We had time to really look inward, really reflect, and really reconnect with ourselves. I know a lot of people picked up spirituality, and with this new moon and sun, being wrapped up here, I feel like there's a sense of wanting to show for that change on the outside. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be changing themselves in a way that is way more authentic, and I think there's a emphasis on self-expression here. I think people are going to want to play around with that, and it's definitely a great time too. I think the energy supports that. It makes me really excited too, because I'm someone who personally really loves, like, you know, makeup and beauty and fashion, and I really think it can be a great way to feed your sense of self. And so I think that's what, you know, a lot of people are going to be doing, is maybe now we know how to feed our sense of self, and this Aries energy is kind of like coming in and giving us the, you know, support to do it. The energetic bank, we need to do it. The bravery, we need to do it. The courage, we need to do it. So we have Venus hanging out in this stellium. So Venus in Aries, I feel, is going to really emphasize our health and healing the health. I find Venus has this wonderful healing aspect to it, where I feel like it kind of just alleviates things, which I know sounds crazy, but that's why they say, like, Venus bears gifts, Venus bears blessings. But I feel like a lot of the things that were building up, maybe health-wise, we now suddenly like have to face. And, you know, even if it's met with a challenge, something about this Aries energy is it's warrior energy. This is the best time to maybe tackle a challenge like that. I feel like people can really change up like their health. So if they, you know, have always found it difficult to like start a routine and have time to work out and all that kind of stuff, I kind of feel like suddenly like you have the green light to do that. Or if there's like a surgery you've been needing to have, and maybe it's just been like really hard to, you know, find time and find the right doctors and all that, I can see it maybe playing out this month and it actually being able to happen for you. Or like if you have been wanting to, you know, take care of your mental health, take care of your emotional health, I feel like this might be a time where, you know, suddenly you find the right therapist, or suddenly you are just supported. Like maybe you run into the right astrologer, or you run into the right resources or the right links, stuff like that, which kind of makes me want to dip into the sign of Mercury, or sorry, the planet of Mercury right now. That's also wrapped up in this stellium. Mercury is like our, you know, sense of logic, our knowing, our like how we give and receive information. And with Mercury's being in the sign of Aries, I feel like, you know, there is going to be the information needed to take care of ourselves, to take care of our health, to take care of our self-esteem and our careers and our money and our families and all these things that, you know, we have to handle in order to survive. I find Aries energy can really emphasize the feeling of survival, because it is, you know, our survival instincts in astrology. But, you know, while it's doing that, I also feel like it can sometimes, you know, trigger the sense of anxiety or paranoia or worry, or it can cause people to really future trip, where they're just like very focused on the future and growing and, you know, getting that job that they want, and, you know, that they kind of like are, how do I say, like disconnected from themselves in the present moment maybe. And it's crazy because on Twitter, if you guys follow me, I have been tweeting a lot about being in the present moment. It feels intuitively like the collective is not here, like they're busy future tripping, or maybe they're busy past tripping as well. One thing I learned in therapy is how to center yourself and a couple grounding techniques. So I'm going to share that with you guys. So the first one is deep breaths and making sure you're counting your breaths. So deep breaths in and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep breaths out, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And, you know, you want to do that slowly. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And pretty much what that's trying to do is steady your breath. And by breathing like that and breathing air into your body, you're kind of like letting your body know that it's okay, that there's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to panic about. And sometimes the body just needs to know that. So breathing is a great way to let it know. And another technique I want to share with you today is one where you want to trigger your 5 senses. So if you feel like you're getting too anxious, or you're thinking too much about the future and you're worrying, or you're stressing yourself out and you feel like it's kind of getting a little out of hand, something you can do is bring yourself back to the present moment through the five senses. So your sense of smell something like a candle, something comforting like a blanket. Your sense of touch something soft, touch something comfortable, and your sense of your sight. So point something out, like point five things out that you automatically see. Going through those five senses there will really bring you back to the present moment. And then there, I think it's a great time to maybe do the breathing techniques after, let your body know, hey, it's okay. And I think from there you can work through whatever it is you want to work through. You'll hopefully will be in a calmer state. Now, these things take practice. Over time you get better at it. And over time you will figure out other techniques that work for you. So I cheated and I did my eyeliner and mascara off camera. I'm bad enough at the eyeliner. I don't have to try and talk and film while doing it. Aries energy reminds me a lot of time. Like it feels like it's connected to time in a sense where, it can really switch up momentum, especially when we move from Pisces to Aries. Like that sense or that switch is heavily felt, I feel like, insert it in the area of time. I think things start to move quicker, things start to pick back up, things that were stuck at like unstuck. It's that type of energy where it's like a veil drops, or things lift, or the ball gets rolling, or it's like the flame is relit again. That's another one I can think of. So that makes me think of the themes of divine timing. I really feel like timing is very controlled by the divine, by the universe, by whatever it is you believe to be up there, if you believe anything's up there. But there's something about this time period that feels very destined, that feels very fated, fated, that feels like things are going to happen at certain points, at certain times, because they need to. Now, as an astrologer, I think everything to some extent can be a little destined, a little fated, just based on the momentum of the planets and the universe and how that's going. But this month in particular, I really feel like I was channeling dates for this month on Twitter. I do like significant channel dates, follow me on Twitter. But I started channeling dates for this month early in March. Like it just felt like this is where maybe a lot of people have like their completion of something, or a lot of people start something new, and so this is like the birth date of like their business, the birth date of like their relationship, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Or this really feels like it's like a moment where people like finally like get like health insurance, finally like get back into school. Like that's the type of fated moments I feel like it happens. Like it's like you start something that maybe carries out for quite a long time, or you start something that maybe really defines like the rest of your life, or really defines your career, or really like set you in a different path. So that's kind of destined and fated moments I'm feeling. So trust the timing, trust your intuition, trust where like the winds of life kind of will sweep you. That's something else I notice, is it kind of feels like we can get like swept up and suddenly something happens and we're like, whoa, wait, how did that even like happen? That happened so fast. So there's that energy there where it's like, how did that even happen? Did it happen so fast? Kind of like fated moments. I like it though. I feel like you can trust it. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you guys have experienced any moments like that already. I definitely have seen it happen as we build up to this new moon. So yeah, let's add some more blushy blush. Can't have too much blush these days. So we still have Jupiter and Saturn hanging out in the sign of Aquarius. Jupiter will be dipping into the sign of Pisces, I believe in June. Let me double check. I have my calendar here. Oh, on the 13th of May. 13th of May. So next month, Jupiter is going to be dipping into the sign of Pisces. I do this every day, but I can't keep track of all the planets and all the dates, and if you can, kudos to you. Me and my brain, no, we can't. In July 28, it'll go back into Aquarius. Okay, and then it's actually December 29th, 2021 when it moves into the sign of Pisces. I wanted to talk about the energy of Jupiter in Aquarius because this is the transfer period. And I say that because I think of Aquarius as like the water bearer sign. So things transferring over to cups. I think of the Temperance card as well. The Temperance card also has like that angel pouring water from one thing into another. So I feel like this, you know, when Jupiter dips into the sign of Pisces in May, that'll be your time to kind of check in and see what it is that you're really forging for yourself and what it is that you're going to be building for yourself over these next couple of years. And I think it's going to give you insights on what kind of hiccups and blockages could come up, so it's better to tackle it then. And so, you know, bringing it back to this new moon in Aries and this Aries stellium, this feels like it's a seeding of that. So this is why, again, I felt like this is a fated moment. It feels like it's the seeding of this. Next month too, we also have the eclipse. It's in Sagittarius, so that will be another, I think, really big checkpoint for you guys. So I just kind of wanted to talk about these but the main big astro events coming up, so you can kind of plan for them and consider them and think of them while you're setting intentions for this new moon in Aries. At the end of the month too, so at the end of April, we're gonna have a full moon in Scorpio. That'll be, I think, another chance to really wrap things up and know what it is that you are going to be focused on. The sign of Scorpio is really focused energy. It's transformation type energy. So I think that's when we're gonna really know what it is that we have to change and switch up so we could be on the right path, so we have the right aim towards what it is that we want. And we could talk more about that. If you guys like these types of videos, we can discuss more about that in the Scorpio full moon video. But for this new moon in Aries, I just want you guys to think about those days, those times, those like little key points coming up, and maybe make a plan for yourself. Again, I don't want you guys to trip too much about the future. This energy is about the now. This energy is about the present. Something about this energy is it's really new and uncontextual. We have a lot of personal planets, you know, igniting here. So there's going to be newness in, you know, the energy of Sun and Mercury and Venus and Moon for us. So our personality, our inner world Sun, our outer world Sun, our inner world Moon, our mind Mercury, and how we're connecting with people Venus. I feel like there's going to be brand new cycles there. So if you're hung up on anything that is old, I would try working on getting closure on that, on releasing that, maybe doing a cord cutting ritual on that. Because again, think about the sign of Aquarius. What is it that's transferring over here for you? What is it from the last chapter and the last decade and the old energy and the old you, and maybe how you defined yourself in the last 10 years? What of that is transferring over into this new uncontextual energy? And I think that becomes, you know, that gets figured out this month, I'm hoping. Probably also, again, when Jupiter dips into the sign of Pisces in May. I'm hoping we'll kind of get insight on that as well. Don't stress yourself out too much. Okay, considering that we have all these planets hanging out in the sign of Aries right around the new moon, kind of like indicates to me that there is support in igniting newness in those areas of life. So don't stress yourself out about getting it started. It will. It's just a matter of it being authentic to you, what it is that you're starting and how it is that you're presenting this energy. Let's do some highlighting. I love highlight. Just like makes you shiny and pretty and glowy and sparkly, and I love highlight. Nose highlighted. So while we're on that topic of what's transferring over, having to adjust to this new energy, having to adapt and pivot to this new energy, something I also sense is having to untie yourself from the old, having to sort of release yourself from karmic cycles, karmic knots that maybe aren't so easy. So like, what do I mean by that? I mean, if, you know, maybe in the last 10 years or in the last chapter, you were always in this karmic cycle of, you know, like codependency, for example. This time period, I think, is going to challenge you to maybe overcome that cycle, exit that cycle, take the first step to getting out of that cycle. And that is what I mean by there's a chance here to karmically untie that, karmically, you know, set a new tone for yourself. It kind of feels like the decisions we make right now can really set up a chain of events for us that stick with us for quite some time. So that's what I feel. And I feel like, you know, that boils down to these karmic knots that we're untying, and whether it is that we do untie them, or does that become something that transfers over as well. So for example, if you maybe like always had a karmic tie with like, you know, a family member or your job, or, you know, so like maybe your karmic tie is like, you know, this family member that you know you need to cut off, but you never have. This is maybe the time to do that. Or this, maybe your karmic tie is that you're always losing yourself, or in your job always working too much. This might be, you know, a chance to undo that and forge something new, set a new tone. That's kind of the energy I'm like trying to get at. I hope that is making some sense. And I really feel heavily that if you become conscious of that, that there can be a lot of signals, signs, and synchronicities. I've been seeing that heavily in my own day-to-day life, that like once I became conscious of like, oh hey, I have this chance to like, you know, untie a lot of karmic cycles here, especially when it comes to, for example, my health and my work and my relationships. I used to maybe handle those things in a way I shouldn't, and now I have a chance to really handle it differently with my new job, with my new relationships, with, you know, a new health routine and whatnot. So that way I can forge a chapter and forge a life where those things aren't a problem anymore. They used to be a problem now, and that used to really define me, but in this chapter they're not going to be, and I'm not going to allow it to define me negatively. I'm going to take what I learned from the last chapter and allow this to now define me in a positive way, in a way where I can maybe help other people, in a way where I can grow, all right, and uplift others people, and uplift myself most importantly. I'm going to finish this look off camera because all I have left now is to do my lips. I'm going to do my lips, change my shirt, take down my hair, and you'll see the final look. Okay, be right back. Okay, are you guys ready to see my look? So I wanted to wear some red today because it's the color for Aries, so I wanted to honor the energy and honor the sign, put some red on today, and yeah, I feel really good. I feel pretty. I'm gonna go take selfies after this, send them to nobody. We're taking the selfies for ourselves. Hello, because no one is gonna appreciate me more than me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for listening. Please let me know what you guys think of this video. Comment down below or give this video a thumbs up so I know you guys want to see like maybe a Scorpio full moon get ready for me. That's happening on the 27th, so that could be fun. If you guys want to book a reading with me or like follow me on any social medias, I'll leave all my links down below. And yeah, this video was so fun to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.